thought, dude, I used to be scared to death of tornadoes ripping through our school because of tornado drills.
Freaking tornadoes just kind of drop down the middle of your brick school. It just,
dude. I've been a G, throw up the L, podcast in the A,
M,
M, O, R, O, U, S. I can put you in first class, up in the sky. I can put you in first class, up in the. What up, Zach?
We're big Jack Harlow fans.
What's going on, my boy?
That's a quote from Mason.
Welcome back to the top 1% of podcasts in the world.
We are the 1%.
We are the 1%.
The minority.
1%. Yep. Okay. So I got a question, dude, and it's something I've been wondering the past couple of days. I've been pondering this, and I'm being like dead serious, and because I don't get like how it worked. How did they do time before like phones in the internet? How did they know what time it was?
Is that a serious question?
That is yeah, I'm being serious, yeah.
The sun. It's not like I'm
Okay, dude. I asked somebody this the other day. They said the same thing.
The sun.
Okay.
Like
but when you look at this... Okay, but listen.
Okay.
When you look at the sun, how are you supposed to know if it's 5:15 or if it's 5:52?
I mean, they didn't... they probably just didn't need to know, like...
Then what do you say? My store is open from...
From when the sun over here and to when the sun over here.
All right. Well, that makes sense. What if you have a doctor's appointment? Be here at 37 degrees.
I got to get a lobotomy when the sun's right here, guys.
Would you say, get here at 2.5 meters from south point 0.67 degrees?
I mean, I think when they created, like, sundials is when they first started to, like, get specific, but...
Okay, but what is a sundial? Dude, people keep saying that to me. What is a sundial?
It's like... I don't really know. I mean, they haven't used them since, like, 2000 BC, but it's like... I guess it's just, like, this big rock, and you got, like, a stick. And so the sun, does its thing where it, like, shines or whatever... And then the stick just like makes a shadow on one of the marks. And some crafty guy just like carves some numbers into those rocks. Or Roman numerals, since they're old.
That dude sounds crazy. Okay, so when they first started getting specific.
Yeah.
Who decided what time it was the first time they picked the time?
I guess they were like sitting there, and then as soon as they saw the sun, they're like, carve it now, go now.
Go.
And they just like started just like chipping away at it.
Okay, but what about like clocks though? What about when they first did clocks? Who decided what time it was to set all the clocks to?
For some reason, it's always kind of like, I've always kind of had this idea that Big Ben, like the big clock, like everyone just bases their time off of that.
That's what I was just thinking.
Is that a thing that we've learned, or is that what do they call that?
I don't know. I feel like I remember talking to this
effect?
girl in 6th grade math about Big Ben. I remember she talked about it.
Yeah.
So that must be what we were talking about.
Is that a Marlboro effect?
Marlboro? Like the cigarette?
No. Mandela.
Oh, Mandela effect. The Marlboro effect, bro. That's what they have that's what they have back where we come from, bro.
Back when.
That's what we had back in the holler.
But like on a okay, so time kind of makes sense, but like dates. Who just decided like, okay, guys, let's start keeping track. Today's June the 7th. Everyone write it down. Tomorrow's June the 8th.
Yeah, okay.
And then it's like, today's June the 31st.
Time is very important because then how do they decide when June 7th ends and June 8th begins?
I think just sunrise and sunset.
Until the time. They don't.
And then
all the days just ran together.
Who was like on June 31st be like, it's July now. Write that down. And then in February 28th, they're like, you know what? Screw February. It's March now.
Who decided how many days were in a year? Do you know that?
I mean...
Probably Jesus.
Yeah. I'm sure he
I would say.
He had a big play in it.
I do wonder... I mean, I guess it makes sense because it's like the seasons are at the same time in the same months of every year.
I mean,
But who was the guy that figured it out in the first place? Because to me,
Galileo
did. Didn't he do music?
I mean, he was in
Queen, right?
Yeah, he was in Queen. He was in the movie.
He was in. Okay.
He sang. I don't know. I'm trying not to give you like.
He was like the main guy.
Yeah, I'm trying not to give you like actual astronomy answers because this is my second time taking astronomy. So if you guys got any questions about the stars,
Oh yeah, he did stars class right before this, so
Email
he's
us
probably
30%
he's
Paul.
fresh. He's fresh on how the days work in the Gregorian calendar because I know that's a thing, ain't it?
is that the one we use?
The Gregorian
Isn't North Korea
or
in
the
year
Babylonian?
like? I think North Korea is in year like 60 or something like that. Like they started counting when.
How can they just choose that they're in a different year? That doesn't make sense.
Well, when they're Kim Jong Un, whenever his grandfather that founded the place, whenever his birthday was, because he created like this whole new world or whatever.
That's just crazy that so he's like North Korea's like not even on Earth anymore.
Yeah.
Dang. Who did? Oh, what I think about every year is on New Year's is how it's 2022, like in New York, but it's 2021 in California.
Yeah.
And
Time travel.
we're time travelers, dude. Everybody is, because it's also like right now it's 11:34, and in California I think it's 8:34.
We need to
So
do
we've
more with
already
our lives.
seen 3 more hours than they have.
Yeah.
And we will always see those 3 hours before.
So
And they're about to see what happened. In 3 hours, they'll know what happened up to this point, but they're not even like caught up yet because they're still at 8 o'clock.
So what if time was like created in California? Then would it be like 8 o'clock right now?
No, because we're in the future.
Okay.
So we would just be, I think, ahead. Or we would be so far behind because they're to the left, and maybe it would go around all the way from the left, all the way back around to the right, and we would actually be like 15 hours behind.
Maybe this is what North Korea did. A couple guys started talking about it, and they got confused. They're like, you know what, guys? Let's
just
start over.
restart.
Today's the first
You know what?
day."
It's not a bad idea, I don't think. Somebody told me today that they do EYL pods in Switzerland.
Is that a drug?
I don't know, but that's just what somebody told me.
What is that?
It's just pods, and you get in
Like a
them.
jewel pod?
Well, you get in them, and I think you either die or time travel. I don't remember, but it's it's kind of related to this though.
50-50 shot.
Yeah, it's kind of related to this, but I think also if you die, you do become a time traveler. I don't know.
Let me tell you, when I was younger, I used to think I could like what if time travel is like a real thing? Shout out Taco Bell if you want to sponsor us.
Facts.
I was like, what if time travel is like a real thing and just like nobody's telling me yet? Like everybody knows but me.
Oh, dude, I used to think that I would be the time traveler if it happened.
If this
like,
happens, it's gonna be me.
like whenever you like see as a kid, but I still do this even now. It's embarrassing, but I do like when you like see a movie and like the main character in the movie's doing all this stuff.
Yeah,
you're always like,
that could be me.
that could be me. Like I'm gonna be if that happens, I'm gonna be the one. But I know for a fact, like as I'm watching the movie, I always think like, yeah, I would be the main character. But after I, come back to my senses, I always realize that like I would be the guy that they like ran past at the subway on the way to the action.
It was like getting like extra cheese on his sub.
Not extra cheese. I would be getting mayonnaise and mustard at the same time. But and I would just be complete. I wouldn't even be a part of the story. They would just pass me, and you would just happen to see me
Like
through the
that,
window.
like that guy in the what was that? The Jurassic World movie where you can see him, and when they're like tearing through everything, and he's like carrying his drinks, like trying not to spill them. I'd be.
I don't remember. I have a friend that was in a couple Netflix stuffs, which is cool. Like he was in the background of Bad Boys for Life and some Dog Department movie. He graduated in it from high school.
You think he could be our guy?
Oh yeah, probably. It's the guy that made the logo. So
Really?
yeah, he does everything
Fantastic.
apparently.
Yeah, I watch movies like that, and I'm like, I could be heroic, but then I'm like,
I watch like Brad Pitt in a movie, and I'm like, yeah,
I
that
look
could
like
be
Brad
me.
Pitt.
What?
What?
You what?
I said I look like Brad Pitt.
Oh, I think I do every time I watch it, and then I look at myself. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, maybe not.
When I was younger, so I don't know if you remember this, but when you played baseball, football, or whatever, you went and you got your mouthpiece, you got your equipment, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You either went to like Hibbett's or you went to like, if you were rich, you went to Under Armour.
Oh yeah, not me. I always went to Hibbett's.
Yeah, well, Hibbett's was closed one day, so we had to go to Under Armour. And I'm getting my mouthpiece or whatever for like football, gearing up. And they used to do this thing at Under Armour where if you spent so much money, they would give you like a string backpack to put all your, instead of putting in like a regular plastic bag, they give you a string backpack. First of all, I probably still have that string backpack somewhere they gave me.
Yeah.
And I remember it's literally just like this straight black string backpack. And in white and red letters on the side of it, it says, "Protect this house." Okay? I was freaking 9 years old. The amount of stress that put on me. I'm like, dog, if somebody rolls up in here with a gun,
Oh yeah, dude.
what am I going to do? I got the backpack. I signed up for it. But what,
Oh
what-
yeah, you got to. Especially it's like if
I'm going to throw my blueberry flavored mouthpiece at him. What am I going to do?
especially if you if you watched like what's a movie like I don't know, like Men in Black or something where people are being really tough, and then you have that string backpack, and it's like, oh, if somebody breaks in, I'm protecting this house.
Yeah, and you got weapons.
Like I will be protecting this house, and I will be crafting a 9mm handgun out of my Legos and shooting them with it.
I remember when I was younger, they pressure you with all this stuff. They're like, this is straight up going to be real life right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're gonna like somebody's gonna break in your house or your house gonna catch on fire. This is what you need to do, and it's good to get kids prepared for that. But it's like the chances that that's gonna happen versus like how often you're making me think it's gonna happen, they don't even match up.
Yeah, there's that, and also a 9-year-old is never going to do the correct thing in any situation. So
chance.
if somebody breaks into your house, if you taught them to hide under the stairs and like the secret door under the stairs,
No chance.
they will be on the 5th stair crying, like just wide open to get took.
If my Thomas the Train pajamas catch on fire in the middle of the night, you think I'm going to stop, drop, and roll? No.
Oh, dude, I've seen a ton of those recently where it's like when I was 5, people talked about this like it would, like happen all the time, and I truly thought, dude, I used to be scared to death of tornadoes ripping through our school because of tornado drills.
Freaking tornado's just going to drop down the middle of your brick school. It just...
Dude, I understand that tornadoes happen. There's not been a tornado here in probably like 100 years.
Yeah.
Like, why was I was so terrified of
There's
tornadoes?
literally
though.
mountains all around us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really get tornadoes, so I don't know why that would affect it at all. But I'm just going to say, yeah, I agree. There is mountains around us, and they would not harm us.
I'm like, there's going to be a tornado rip through my house right now and pick me up and like throw me in my neighbor's yard. And my neighbor's weird.
What's something else that they like convinced us, or like they treated like it would happen like every day?
I know. Well, they would always talk about how you need to be prepared and have like a go bag. And so in my Protect This House string backpack, you could find it tucked away in the back of my closet. And in that, I had like 3 pencils, 2 water bottles, and like a freaking calculator or something. Like.
What would you? You just go to like calculate how to like survive.
So if Armageddon happens and my family has to hide in the back of my 9-year-old closet,
Kid.
but we got 2 water bottles, like 3 pencils and a calculator to last us weeks.
You could sit there and like do the math, like how many cashews you have left to split
Yeah,
with each other.
if we ration out these waters, calculate that up. If we ration out these waters for 2 weeks, between the 5 of us, we should be good.
All right, Mom, you get a drink at 4:30. I'm gonna take one at 5:52.
We have 32 ounces of water and 5 people.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
5 people, 2 weeks, 32 ounces of water. We got it.
If you get super hungry, we got some pencils, but I want to push those to the back like at least a week and a half, okay?
Let's see. I'm trying to think of something that I feel like there was always stuff that I was like worried about for no reason, because they just made it seem like it was going to happen a lot. Like.
I can tell you one thing that I was not worried about was being kidnapped, because anytime somebody would be like, oh, what happens if you get kidnapped? My grandma would be like, oh, they'd bring you back. So I was like, Frick yeah, I'm safe.
Yeah, let's go, dude.
And then in reality, it's like if somebody like kidnapped you and you try to ignore them, they probably just like punch you in the face and knock you out, and you're done.
Oh yeah, and they're not gonna bring you back because then they would go to prison for the rest of their lives.
Hey, I know I committed a felony by taking your kid, and there's currently an Amber Alert, but he's getting on my nerves a little bit. So you can have him back. Don't write my plate numbers as I drive by.
Like if he's that annoying, they'll probably just drop you off in the woods or something.
Yeah, I know why they bring me back.
Yeah, like what? Like yeah, it's just like yeah. By the way, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody where I had you.
My secret lair, back up.
Don't tell anybody where the safe house is.
So, so I saw this on Instagram the other day. Not the other day. This is actually a while ago. So like the Spotify Wrapped thing, right?
Oh yeah.
So I follow a lot of public figures on Instagram. I don't really care like what you stand for or who you are. I just like follow people. So Obama, he released his summer playlist. This was a while ago, and I started looking at this, and this is the most random thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay, there's like 30 songs on here. Let me go through some of these. Keep Looking Up by Casey Musgraves is on here. Apple Tree Blues by Camp. Those are both like, let's chill out, listen to some nice music. Too Good by Drake is on here. Die Hard by Kendrick Lamar. And then Praise You by Fatboy Slim, whoever that is. This is just such a Music for a Sushi Restaurant by Harry Styles. Break My Soul by Beyonce. Bruce Springsteen's on here. Miles Davis. Like this is Lil Yachty's on here. Split Whole Time by Lil Yachty's on here. So my question is like, what do you think the chances are that's his actual playlist, or does he just like have some intern that's like 20 years old and he's like, okay, put some like good music on there, not controversial stuff.
I was just thinking
and
that
one Lil Yachty song.
I want to try to do an Obama voice, but I like suck at doing voices. But he has such a good voice, though. He's such a unique. I love his voice, dude. Ooh, I can't do it.
Well, you got that part right.
Yeah, I did.
100% so far.
Ooh, okay, I can't go past that. I don't think. Michelle, give me some. That was not good.
I remember when
decent.
I remember when I was in elementary school, because he was a president. We were in elementary school. Like somebody would talk about Obama, and there'd always be that one kid like, he smokes, right? I'm like,
Obama did cigarettes in college. Oh, but imagine being on Obama's playlist, though. Whether that's a real one or not, that's the one he posted. If I was Lil Yachty, I would be elated. Like Obama, that handsome fella with the awesome voice.
That sounds like Lil Yachty. That's a good impression.
Yeah, it does. Exactly. Yeah, it does. Oh, yeah.
I love Lil Yachty's voice. It's so good.
Yeah, I do, too. He also, I remember this one, I really loved him because this one time he said all he ate was like tacos and pizza, and I was like, me too, bro. He said he doesn't eat vegetables.
Speaking to me in the 7th grade, like, I feel you, dog. That's me.
Also, it's funny to me that like Obama has like some of that like rap, like kind of trap music on his playlist, because it's like Obama listening to that is the equivalent of me listening to that. But like actually, it's probably more relatable to me. Like he grew up in Hawaii with like lawyer parents, and he was the president of the United States.
He's literally in the White.
He was a senator from the time he was like 20, and I'm like.
He's in his Oval Office listening to Kendrick Lamar talk about how he's from the projects, and he's like, "That's me." I get that. He's like, "Bring me in a snack." I get that, guys. That's me.
That's me. Dang it! I'm cutting that out.
That's me.
I am cutting that out. There's no way. I'm keeping that in. I would love to be good at Obama's voice. He's got such a cool voice.
Or Morgan Freeman.
Michelle. God dang. I need to go to class. Like I need to go to like a voice class just so I can learn Obama.
What about a Morgan Freeman? Yes.
Yes. Yours is pretty good. That the one I did was actually decent.
You gotta have that voice breaker.
Yes.
Yes. Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman. What did he play? Was he the Godfather? No, that was some Italian guy. That was from like the 70s.
He was I don't know. He wears earrings. What? I feel like he's in a lot of stuff.
He is. He's in some stuff with Denzel Washington. I think
can't
he's
think
in
of
like
anything
Planes
he
or
plays.
something. Isn't he in Planes? Not the Disney movie, but
Was
like,
he the one that did he land that plane in Sully? Was that him? No, Sully.
I'm pretty sure that was Denzel Washington, right?
Adam Sandler? Was that Adam Sandler?
Leonardo, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know what I don't know like what Morgan Freeman's in. I just know Morgan Freeman. He's in Django, right? Or is it like the Hateful Eight? He's in the Hateful Eight.
Have you seen that movie where it's like those three old guys and they're like retired and then they rob a bank?
Three old guys.
It's so funny. It's like these old guys and like
I don't think I have.
and like they fall into debt and they're like three like best friends and they're like single and they like fall into debt because their company like screws them over with their retirement, and so they just decide to like rob a bank, like straight up like pull off like this massive heist with like guns and masks and everything, because they're like, if we go to jail we're freaking 95 years old, like what?
No, I've not
like,
seen that.
They're like, if we go to jail, oh well, we get meals and free health care. But
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like a good movie. I've
It
not
is.
seen that though. I have seen the game plan though with The Rock and playing football.
with the little girl in the tutu. Mm-hmm. Is that the one where she has like an allergic reaction?
She has a peanut allergy, yeah, and she eats like she eats ice cream and it has peanuts in it.
Yeah, and then doesn't he like run across the bridge?
Yeah, he runs across
Instead
the
of
bridge
like
is,
instead of
full
like
traffic.
instead of like being like, hey, she's kind of sick. Can you give me a ride? He's like, I got this.
Well, it was because the traffic was so bad. The
Yeah.
traffic was stopped on the bridge,
okay.
and he ran her all the way there because he's The Rock and he's a beast.
Yeah.
The Rock is a new TV show. I'm not gonna watch it, but it's called Young Rock. It's on like something, I don't know.
So so today where I work, we do a lot of sandblasting. I think I've talked about this before, and it's really loud, so you have to wear like hearing protection. And so I listen, there's only so much music you can listen to in one day. And so I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I go through podcasts like crazy. And I've kind of like broadened what I listen to, and I listen to a lot of true crime. And I saw one the other day, this girl was talking about it, and it's about the Zodiac Killer, okay? And so it's like a whole like 12 episode, podcast about the Zodiac Killer.
I think I've seen it, but I've not listened to it.
But anyways, so like bare bones, if you don't know what the Zodiac Killer is, he was like the first major serial killer, from San Francisco in the 60s. He kind of like took police off guard because no one had ever just like randomly killed people for no reason. And so
That we know of.
yeah, and so after he would kill somebody, he would like call the police and be like, "Hey, yo, just killed somebody. They're here. Come find me." And then like hang up the payphone and run. And he would also like send letters to the news, to like the newspaper, like the big newspaper in the area, and he would kind of like talk about like what he was doing, why he was doing it, like what his next plans were. So a big part of being a serial killer is you want to take credit for stuff. You want to be like in the spotlight, but you want to be like just like 2 steps ahead of police where like they can't get you, but like you're in like the public eye. They're constantly chasing you. That's what serial killers want, and that's what this guy was. Unfortunately for him, he did everything he did in like the 60s and 70s, which was when, serial killers were like booming, I guess. And so like right in the middle of like him, going out on his killing spree and like, sending letters. He would send letters to like, to the newspaper and be like, print this on the front page or I'll kill somebody else. And, it really is, it's sad, but I was listening to it today and I could not help but crack up at this guy. So in the middle of like what he was doing, Charles Manson became a big thing. Charles Manson was basically like a cult leader, and he would have like all these people go out and kill people for him. And this guy was like crazy. Like he thought he was Jesus. Like he showed up to court and he'd like took a razor blade and like cut a cross into his forehead. Like he was insane. And so Charles Manson, he was in court and his case was going on at the same time the Zodiac Killer was going on. So they were like competing for the spotlight. The Zodiac Killer didn't like that. So they like started. They actually mentioned this in their podcast. They're like, it was like clockwork. Anytime that the newspaper would release like this big article about something with Charles Manson, like the next day they would get a letter from the Zodiac Killer because he could not stand that somebody else was getting the attention. And so they'd be like, Charles Manson, trial starts today. And the next day the Zodiac Killer would be like, I just killed 2 people last night. Put this on the front page or I'll kill somebody else. And then, the next day it'd be like, Charles Manson, does this. And it's, I guess you can only kill so many people in 1 week, you kind of hit your limit. And so he kind of like started to run out of stuff to say. So he started emailing, or not email. He started sending letters, not emails, the 60s. He started sending letters, and he was like, I see all these people with their campaign buttons, like those pins that go on your shirt. He's like, I see people with those buttons. How about you guys make some buttons for the Zodiac Killer? And then they didn't do it, obviously. And so another thing came up about Charles Manson, and he's like, you guys didn't release any buttons. What's up? Make some buttons, make some people wear them, or I'm going to kill some people. And then something about Charles Manson, he'd be like, screw you guys, where's the buttons? Like, what the heck? I'm not seeing any buttons around. Somebody make some buttons. And then it'd be like, another thing about Charles Manson, frick you guys, okay, I'll make my own buttons. I'm making buttons around. I'm going to wear it. And literally, there was like 5 different letters just about these random like campaign buttons that he wanted his logo on. And he was like, wear them or I'll kill a bunch of people. And like nobody ever did it. I was sitting there and I was laughing. I was like, it's really like sad and horrible, like what this guy did. But the fact that like he was getting so heated because nobody was like wearing buttons, repping his name.
Yeah, his entire just like at that moment, his existence revolved around being pinned to somebody's chest, just his name, because nobody knew like what he looked like, right?
Yeah.
So it was just like he just wanted Zodiac Killer.
He was actually his true identity was revealed. I want to say it was like 2 years ago or something like that.
Really?
Like he literally, like he's been dead for, I think he's been dead for like 10 years or something like that, and they finally figured out who he was not long ago.
They didn't know?
No, they didn't
Wow.
know. They never caught him. Nothing ever happened to him.
Weirdly enough, and I don't want to compliment, like, I'm not condoning what he did. Mm-hmm. I think that's the right word. But good job for not getting caught.
Shout out that if you're his kids and you want to sponsor the pod, or email us, tell us what you
Y'all
think.
can hit us up. Speaking of Instagram, like when people get those stickers that say like have your Snapchat or your Instagram, and it's like on their car, like on their car window, and it's always like you look it up and it's some guy like throwing up the 4s on the back of his like 98 Camaro, and he has like 400 followers.
Some like 5'6" guy named Todd, like
Yeah,
into the bed of his pickup truck.
Yeah, so I seen something that might have topped that the other day. Okay. Like I think is probably 20 times worse. I seen a dude that was wearing customized sweatpants with his Instagram handle on them. And obviously I had to look up his Instagram, okay? I looked up his Instagram. Dude has 1,500 followers, okay? Mm-hmm. But he's following 1,200 people. So it's like, why? What are you doing?
Even if it was a 1,500 to 0 ratio, that is not enough Instagram followers to justify putting it on. I don't think there's any amount that justifies putting it on your sweatpants.
That's got to be like the most pathetic fashion choice you can make would be putting your own Instagram handle on your sweatpants. And I guarantee you, dude, those pants had to be $60 minimum, $70.
At the church that I go to,
and he had it on both sides.
On both sides,
and it was at the bottom of the pants, like it was at like the ankle, and it was like bunched up, and you could barely read it. It was good enough though.
It
was a Lil Tim, so.
Shout out, Lil Tim. Yeah. At the church that I go to on Wednesday nights, I go and help out with their youth. When you go in the bathroom and you like shut the stall and you sit down to poop, you look in front of you on the back. They have like their Instagram scan thing and then like the Snapchat under it. And I'm like, every time I sit down to poop, I'm like, I'm gonna follow them, and then I haven't. So
yeah, that's like the worst place though, right?
Dude.
I mean, I guess it's like good marketing in a way because it's like
I think that's really smart.
It's like you have to go in there at some point, but it's also like, do I really want people following me in that condition?
Because it's
can you follow me while you're sitting on your couch at home with your clothes on.
I guess if you're marketing, if your like market is teenagers, that's like one of the few places where you're gonna find them like sitting down for more than a minute and a half.
Yeah, and paying attention, and like potentially paying attention to what's in front of them.
Yeah.
They probably have to take a peek up there just to make sure that nobody broke in or something.
I was always terrified somebody break in. Dylan, what does your name mean? The meaning behind your name.
I think it means intelligent one. Let me look it up. I feel like I used to know this.
My name means.
But I forgot.
My name translates to Zachariah, and it means God remembers. What does yours mean?
Oh, mine means, this is actually dope, bro. It's, first of all, it's a gender neutral name, so I'm for everybody, baby.
Is it? I've never met a girl named Dylan.
Oh, I've seen some, and that's what thebump.com says, so that's obviously true.
Sponsor us.
Meaning, like a lion or loyal, which is true. I'm a very loyal person. I've never been disloyal to a single person ever. And this 12th century surname was introduced to Ireland during the Anglo-Norman invasion at the time. It sounds like a tragedy. It has since evolved into a reliable first name. Yep. With many diverse spelling variations, including Dylon, Dilon, and Dillen. So I don't know what the heck these people, parents must have been on drugs when they were spelling it. But my name makes sense, Dilon. That's the most beautiful way to spell it. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Is Dylan a biblical name of uncertain origin? Either an ornamental name from the biblical place name Dilon, or an altered form of Sephardic de Leon.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And so yeah,
see,
my name is holy. That's what it says basically. So
some people have like cool name meanings, like a lion. Yeah, like a lion. God remembers. But some people just get like lucked out on like the whole name meaning. Like the name Courtney. What do you think the name Courtney means?
Criminal.
No. The name Courtney translates to short nose.
I don't get what that means, but
like some people's names are like really cool, like brave, like lion, and some people's are like short nose.
Probably like long toes or something too.
Yeah. So if you're brave like a lion,
that's probably like Crotney.
Yeah. If you're brave like a lion, if you got a short nose, long toes, or Crotney, that sounds like a disease.
So does Bojangles.
Kind of like shingles.
Yeah, I thought Bojangles was a disease when I first heard of it. Not even joking.
It may be a disease. But if you have any of those things, or you work at Bojangles,
or you've ever had Bojangles or smelled it,
or you own a Bojangles, follow us on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. We're on TikTok.
At 30% pod, son.
Or just email us. Or just listen to the pod. I'm cool with any of it.
Or just donate $100,000 million to us. I'd appreciate that.
That'd be cool too.
I'd appreciate that.
Or donate a guy.
Yeah, donate us a guy in a normal way.
Yeah.
Donate us a guy that knows how to edit and do podcast stuff and will make us more professional looking and sounding. And I'm about to cry.
This has been 30% off.